Please join me in a reflection, on meditation, on prayer, as I offer these words, followed by silence and the sung response. Let this year be a clean slate for new beginnings. I pray for stamina to finish things left uncompleted, to call on people I neglected last year. I pray for courage to rally in the cause for peace and justice, to speak out in support when others remain silent. I pray for empathy to better understand the pain and suffering of others, to continue engaging heart to heart. I pray for patience when seeking resolutions to problems, when seeking a new beginning after an ending. I pray for creativity in seeking new meaning in service, engaging others in service to the beloved community. I pray for peace between friends and families, between communities and countries. All these things I pray for in this time of beginning, in this new year. Breathe out when I breathe in. I breathe in peace. Breathe out love. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Our reading is a New Year reading. As we turn toward this new year, like Janus, we gather with part of us looking backward and part of us looking forward. We take a final glimpse of the past year and reckon with all that it held for us. The new year calls us forward, filled with mystery. What parts of our lives, what things, ideas, people, ways of living have become obstacles to our becoming our authentic selves, the people we want to be? What's getting in the way of our living as fully as we'd like? Making a choice to start anew has its own energy. It's a promise you make to yourself. If the past year held joy and growth, may that sweetness continue to bless. If the past year held pain and bitterness, may you be relieved of those burdens and renewed for the journey ahead. Let us look to the new with hope, with curiosity about its many unknowns, and with faith in our strength to navigate it with grace. There ends the reading. A new year, a new beginning. There are times in our lives that lend themselves to starting something new, finishing school, leaving a job, changing homes, or the beginning of a new year. They're all the times that turn our minds to fresh starts. We're on the precipice of a new year. However, starting new is most powerful when we focus our attention to what we're choosing to create, whether it's by giving back to the community, learning a new skill, or expanding our circle of friends. A new year is the perfect time to spark positive change. As part of the human condition, life is always filled with both joys and sorrows, errors and achievements. But this is a time for reflecting on what you want to leave behind as you move forward through the coming year. By giving all of our attention to the unwanted aspects of our lives, we allow what we resist to persist. We need to remember to leave enough room in the process of new beginnings to be kind to ourselves, because it takes time to become accustomed to anything new, no matter how much we like it. There is magic in new beginnings. However, G.K. Chesterton informs that the object of a new year is not that we should have a new year, it is that we should have a new soul. The habits we develop are powerful things. According to Gandhi, our beliefs become our thoughts become our words become our actions become our habits become our values, and our values become our destiny. It's always difficult when we make the effort to free ourselves of a behavior or a habit we no longer need. We're often surprised to find ourselves missing the old pattern as we would a familiar friend. Many habits begin as a way of avoiding feelings that are extremely uncomfortable. So it makes sense that letting go of the behavior means, for a time, a fair amount of discomfort. The same is true of habits that we have developed over time that we are ready to release. Just knowing that this is hard and having compassion for ourselves as we work through the process can help us to stay the course when we feel the urge to backtrack. Now, this sounds counterintuitive because we think we should instinctively gravitate toward that which is good for us. And yet, it makes a lot of sense because we're creatures of habit and are driven by our emotions, not as logical as we believe we are. Pain drives us one way and pleasure drives us another. And at the end of the day, we'll go to great lengths to avoid pain. That's why we gravitate to people, places, and patterns of behavior that make us feel comfortable. Therefore, many of the habits we form are not conscious and are based instead on learned behavior from role models who were not always making the healthiest decisions. Experts agree that there's no typical time frame for breaking a habit, and the right recipe is going to be a mix of personality, motivation, circumstances, and the habit in question. The question is, what's the motivation? Why change? People who want to let go of a habit or behavior for reasons that are aligned with personal values will change the behavior faster than people who are doing it for external reasons, such as for money or some other external reward, or pressure from others telling them to do so. When it's driven by internal values, it's sustainable. If not, it will fade quickly. It's not about what other people say or do. It's what we tell ourselves. And above all else, don't buy into the notion of, and I quote, "I'm too old to change." If you're trying to integrate the ability to become more present in your daily life, choose what you want to practice. You may want to integrate more formal practice that would come in the form of a sitting meditation or mindful yoga. Maybe you want to integrate more informal moments of just being present to whatever you are doing, or both. Perhaps it's exercise, better sleep, or being a more present friend. In any case, having an awareness of what you want to do is the first step. To relinquish an unwanted habit, you must acknowledge it by bringing it into conscious awareness. Take a few moments to identify a behavior that is getting in the way of your health and well-being. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what do I really want to change? Envision the change you want to make. If your goal is to eat healthier, envision yourself getting rid of all the junk food in your house. Buy fresh organic ingredients and prepare them in your kitchen. Instead of winding down in the evening with your usual snacks and hours of television, practice meditation or yoga. Schedule a regular afternoon exercise time to release frustration of the workday and difficult coworkers. Create the new script in your mind and write it down. Read it each day, making revisions that improve the story. In time, a healthier pattern can be established and the yearning for the old ones will disappear. As a member of this congregation, the change you wish to make may be connected to the way you integrate yourself into the health of our shared ministry. Do you continually oppose new operational ways of being that will bring UUNB greater visibility in the community without discussing the pros and cons with church leaders? Perhaps the change you seek is to be more receptive to new ideas, to attend board meetings, or at least read the result of the Board of Trustees' work in preparation for congregational meetings, and read the newsletter. Jan works very hard on getting it out in a timely fashion. You may marvel at the interesting stories for all ages that Jessica always presents. Perhaps this is the year you can drop in and see how she keeps the children interested in classroom presentations. Eventually, the instinct will be to reach for things that will make life better, and the longing for positive change will form the basis of a new habit. However, the only way to get this new place is to endure a little discomfort, which is a challenge, because our bodies, hearts, and minds always need time to adjust to a new way of doing things. Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul and How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, informs that most everything that we want is just outside of our comfort zone. However, the good news is that we are nearly always capable of doing something else when we are aware of the behavior and are sufficiently motivated to change. There's an old saying that asks, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is one bite at a time. Set simple goals, take them step by step, and make them repetitive. Repetition is what forms the behavior or habit that you want to let go of. And daily repetition will establish the positive replacement. Habits fill deep-seated needs, so when you drop an unwanted behavior, it's important to replace it with a nourishing one. The key is to find an activity that provides sustainable comfort, that replaces the temporary relief your old habit provided. When we decide to rid ourselves of unpleasant habits or behaviors and choose a better way, sometimes we find that some of the people around us are uncomfortable with the change. Therefore, you may need to put some distance between yourself and those who continue to engage in the habit you're letting go of. For example, if you want to end a pattern of workaholism, seek out people who have found a measure of work-life balance. You'll likely be influenced by their healthier approach. It's important to keep in mind that the changes we seek in our lives will adapt and eventually become our allies if we remain true to our vision of a new way. Unitarian Universalist third principle calls us to the acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. Don't be afraid to ask for support from others, because letting go of negative behaviors and habits helps us to be the best version of ourselves that we can be emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. However, if you do stray, practice, forgive, and invite. Forgive yourself for the time gone by, learn from your obstacles, and invite yourself in that present moment to begin again. From my heart to yours, may it be so.